Okay, I would like to drop a brief little disclaimer before I get into this video. This was approved by Coletrain. I ran the thing by him, and this was approved. We talked about it beforehand. He knows I'm doing this right now, and so this was approved by him. So, if you have a problem with this, you can talk to me, or you can talk to him. If you have any questions, you can talk to me, or you can talk to him. But bottom line, this is an approved message from Coletrain Production and myself. Okay, so with that out of the way, what is up? It's your boy JNW Boss in the building. Yes, I know this is not my channel, but this video was approved to come here. So, here's what we are going to do as far as the Universe Mode War Code series when it comes to co-branded pay-per-views. And the important thing to note out of all of this is the following thing. These shows will not be live streamed. No, these shows will not be live streamed. These shows will be premiered. Here's why. Because if this is a co-branded pay-per-view, we want it to feel like a co-branded pay-per-view. So we're not going to get that same vibe if we live stream it. We're just not. There are certain things that won't be able to be done if it is live streamed. And we want the ability to do that. And we want both brands to be able to show off what they can do equally and fairly without feeling like they're being sabotaged in some way. So here's how we're going to do that. So, Raw, SmackDown, the most amount of matches you can have is 6. The most amount of segments you can have is 4. Meaning, no more than 4 segments. And personally for me, I'm counting backstage stuff. So if you want to do like a backstage interview or whatever, that's going to count. If you want to do a backstage attack or whatever, that's going to count. If you want to do 2 superstars just talking to each other, that is going to count. Post-match angles depends. So I'll probably have to talk with Cole about that one, and we'll figure out what we have to do. So post-match angles depends on what you're doing. It really just depends on what you're doing. If you're just having 2 guys shake hands, I'm not going to count that. You know, we're probably not going to count that. So backstage, I'm mainly thinking backstage stuff when I'm talking about segments here. Maximum of 6 matches, maximum of 4 segments. However, you are not required to have 6 matches. So, we could have a show where maybe if SmackDown, and I'm just saying SmackDown because that's the show I'm a part of, maybe if SmackDown feels like, maybe this rivalry isn't ready yet, you might want to wait, then wait. However, you are required to participate. It is a co-branded show. It's called co-branded for a reason. So I'll say minimum amount of matches you need to have is 4. So minimum of 4 matches, maximum of 6, because we want y'all to participate in some way. Also, you do not have to have segments. But if you want to have them, 4 is the max you can have. So there you go. You're not required to have 6 matches. You're not required to have segments. But the maximum amount of segments you can have is 4. The maximum amount of matches you can have is 6. Also, don't skimp out. Meaning, don't... How do I say don't? What? Don't skimp out. Meaning, if you have a match that you feel like booking-wise should probably be on a big 4, then put it on there. Don't skimp out. Meaning, okay, I get saving some matches, but if it's clear that, you know, your show is just, you know, just not having huge matches on the show for the sole purpose of, oh yeah, you know, we really participated. Come on, book sensibly. book sensibly. We're not competing on the co-branded shows, so just book sensibly. In fact, it'll actually behoove you to have some of your better matches on a co-branded show, because who knows, depending on how it goes, that could swing eyes your way. So I get why some shows, why if you're Raw or SmackDown, you might want to be like, I don't want to do this match here, I want to save it for my other show. I wouldn't do that, because depending on what people think of your match, you may get more eyes on that show. So if you're going to book sensibly. That's all I'm going to say. If you skimp out, that's your problem. If you don't, who knows, you can mess around and get more eyes on your show, and thus, of course, that can bring your show up in the ratings, and of course, you can end up probably winning the dang gun thing. Who knows? So don't skimp out. I'm sure we're not going to have that problem, but just saying, don't do that, please. Thank you. We're not competing on the co-branded pay-per-view, so let's make it fun at least, you know? Make it a fun show for everybody to watch. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, whoever. So, to recap, the maximum amount of matches both shows can have is 6. You are not required to have 6 though, as the minimum is 4. The maximum amount of segments both shows can have is 4. And we would also need to know the matches you're having, I want to say at least by the go-home show. At least after your go-home show, we should know what matches you're having or want to have on the show. Raw, communicate with Cole. SmackDown, y'all will communicate with me, I guess. SmackDown, y'all will communicate with me or whatever. Both brands get together, discuss, okay, what matches are we doing on the show? We will let each other know. We'll get the video of the matches, segments, all that. We'll talk about the order, all of that, and we'll put on a good show. Oh, and by the way, this show is not going to be split up into 2 parts either. Let me just say, I feel like I'm glad that just crossed my mind. This show is not going to be split up into 2 parts either. Meaning, it isn't just going to be a Raw portion and a SmackDown portion. It's going to be one whole show. So we're going to see a mixture of Raw and SmackDown matches. So if we feel that a SmackDown match is more important to main event the show, then SmackDown's going to main event. Vice versa, if we feel like a Raw match would benefit main event in the show, then we'll do that. So this isn't going to be split up into 2 parts either. It's going to be one whole show. So there you go. One last time. Maximum amount of matches 6. Minimum 4. Maximum amount of segments you can have 4, and I guess minimum, well, never mind, not really a minimum. You don't have to have segments if you don't want to, but at least have 4 matches. At least have 4 matches. And just let us know when you got the matches. So thank you to Coletrain for allowing me to get this word out to you guys, and we'll be in talk whenever it's time for the co-branded pay-per-view. So even though this isn't my channel, I'm still going to do it. If you can, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the other videos and streams on this particular channel you're watching this on. Spread the word about Coletrain's channel, and swing by mine if you wish. Until the next time he or I see you guys, be a boss, and we will holla at you guys later.